stood there, frozen like a statue in the middle of my own baby shower, holding divorce papers in my shaking hands. My husband Marcus had just given them to me, right in front of everyone. My mom, my best friend Sarah, my co-workers, even Marcus's own mother, they all stared at me with their mouths hanging open like they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The pink and blue balloons floated above us, mocking me. The cake that said, "Welcome baby," sat on the table, suddenly looking stupid. All the carefully wrapped presents piled in the corner meant nothing now. My hands were trembling so hard that the papers rustled loudly in the silent room. "Sign them, Emma," Marcus said coldly, his eyes harder than I'd ever seen them. "I'm done with this marriage." I looked down at my round belly, 7 months pregnant with what was supposed to be our baby, and felt tears burning my eyes. But then I remembered something. Something Marcus didn't know yet. Something that was going to change everything. I looked up at him with a small, sad smile. "Okay, Marcus," I said quietly. "But first, I have an announcement to make." The room went so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Marcus looked confused, maybe even a little nervous. "You should be. Where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments. And if you want to know what happens next, you better hit that subscribe button right now because this story is about to get crazy. Let me take you back to where this nightmare started. 3 months ago, everything seemed perfect. Or at least I thought it was perfect. Marcus and I had been married for 5 years. We met in college when I was studying to be a teacher and he was working on his business degree. He was tall, handsome, with a smile that made my heart skip a beat. He used to bring me coffee during my study sessions. He used to leave little notes in my textbooks saying, "You're going to be amazing." He used to make me feel like the most special person in the world. We got married right after graduation in a small ceremony in my parents' backyard. It wasn't fancy, but it was perfect. Marcus's best friend David was his best man. My sister Jessica was my maid of honor. We danced under string lights until midnight, and Marcus whispered in my ear that he couldn't wait to spend forever with me. For the first few years, everything was good. Really good. I got my dream job teaching 3rd grade at Riverside Elementary School. Marcus started working at a big company downtown doing something with marketing. I never fully understood it, but he seemed to love it. We bought a small house in a quiet neighborhood. We adopted a golden retriever named Biscuit. We talked about having kids, someday. But then someday came sooner than we planned. For months ago I found out I was pregnant. I was terrified at first. We hadn't really been trying and I wasn't sure if we were ready. But when I told Marcus, his face lit up like a Christmas tree. "Are you serious?" he asked, picking me up and spinning me around even though I immediately felt dizzy and nauseous. "Yes. But put me down before I throw up on you." I laughed. He set me down carefully like I was made of glass, and put his hand on my still flat stomach. "We're going to be parents," he said softly. "Emma, this is the best news ever." I believed him. God, I really believed him. The problem started small. So small that I didn't even notice them at first. Marcus started working late. Like really late. He'd come home at 9, 10, sometimes even 11 at night. When I asked him about it, he'd say his boss was giving him extra projects because he was being considered for a promotion. "I'm doing this for us, Em," he'd say, kissing my forehead. "For you and the baby. We need the extra money." It made sense. Babies are expensive. I was already worried about how we'd afford everything. The crib, the stroller, the diapers, the doctor's appointments. So I didn't complain. I just reheated his dinner and rubbed his shoulders when he finally came home. But then he started being secretive with his phone. I noticed it one evening when we were watching TV together. His phone buzzed on the coffee table and he practically dove for it. He looked at the screen, his face went weird for a second, and then he turned the phone face down. "Who was that?" I asked casually. "Just work stuff," he muttered, not looking at me. "At 8 o'clock at night? I told you, Emma, I'm working on this big project. People email at all hours." Okay, that made sense too, I guess. Then there was the way he stopped touching me. Not in a bad way, he wasn't mean or anything. He just stopped. No more random hugs from behind while I was making breakfast. No more kisses that lasted longer than a quick peck. No more cuddling on the couch while we watched our shows. "Are you okay?" I asked him one night after he moved to the far edge of the bed, leaving a huge gap between us. "Did I do something wrong?" "No, babe, you're fine," he said, but he still didn't move closer. "I'm just tired. Work is really stressful right now. We could talk about it," I offered. "I'm your wife. I'm here for you. I know. I need to handle this myself." And that was the end of that conversation. Sarah was the first person to say something out loud. Sarah had been my best friend since we were 12 years old. She knew me better than anyone, sometimes better than I knew myself. We were having lunch at our favorite cafe, the one with the really good sandwiches and the outdoor seating with the pretty flowers. I was complaining about how tired I was all the time, and how my feet were starting to swell, and how I couldn't eat anything without getting heartburn. But Marcus is being so sweet about it, I said, trying to convince myself as much as her. He rubs my feet every night and... Emma, Sarah interrupted, setting down her iced tea and looking at me seriously. When's the last time Marcus actually rubbed your feet? I opened my mouth to answer, then closed it. When was the last time? Exactly, Sarah said gently. Em, I love you and I don't want to worry you, but something seems off with Marcus lately. What do you mean? My heart started beating faster. I don't know exactly. It's just a feeling. He seems distant when I see him. And at Jessica's birthday party last month, he barely talked to anyone. He just sat in the corner on his phone the whole time. He was tired from work, I said automatically. Emma. Sarah reached across the table and took my hand. I'm not trying to start drama. But you're my best friend and you're about to have a baby and I just want you to be careful. Maybe keep your eyes open, okay? I pulled my hand back, feeling defensive. Marcus would never cheat on me if that's what you're suggesting. I didn't say that. He's stressed about becoming a dad and about his job. That's all. Everything is fine. But everything wasn't fine. Deep down I knew it. I just didn't want to admit it. Despite everything feeling weird with Marcus, I was excited about the baby shower. My mom and sister Jessica were planning it, and they kept asking me questions about what I wanted. Do you want a theme? Mom asked over the phone. Like animals or books, or maybe something neutral since you don't know if it's a boy or girl? Marcus and I had decided not to find out the baby's gender. We wanted it to be a surprise. Something simple, I said. Maybe just pink and blue decorations? And lots of cake. I'm craving cake all the time. Mom laughed. You've been craving cake since you were 5 years old, sweetie? But okay, we can do that. When I told Marcus about the shower, he barely reacted. That's nice, he said, not looking up from his laptop. It's next Saturday, I continued. At Mom and Dad's house. 2 o'clock. Your mom is coming, and David said he might stop by with his wife. I'll be there, Marcus said shortly. Are you sure? You seem busy lately, and I don't want you to feel like you have to. I said I'll be there, Emma. His voice had an edge to it that made me flinch. Okay, I said quietly. I just wanted to make sure. He sighed and finally looked at me. For a second I thought I saw something in his eyes. Guilt maybe? Sadness? But then it was gone. Sorry, he said. I'm just stressed. Of course I'll be at the baby shower. It's important. I wanted to ask him what he was so stressed about. I wanted to ask him why he'd been so distant. I wanted to ask him if he still loved me. But I was scared of the answers, so I just nodded and left the room. The week before the baby shower was the worst week of my life. Well, the second worst. The worst was coming. Marcus started coming home even later. He'd sneak into bed at 1 or 2 in the morning, and when I'd wake up and ask where he'd been, he'd say he fell asleep at the office or went out for drinks with coworkers. You smell like perfume, I said one night, my heart pounding. What? He froze in the middle of taking off his shirt. You smell like women's perfume. Flowery. Sweet. Emma, there are women at my office. We work in close quarters. Maybe it rubbed off during a meeting or something. Don't be paranoid. I'm not being paranoid. I'm pregnant and confused and you're acting weird and I just want to know what's going on. Nothing is going on, he snapped. God, Emma, you're being crazy. Is this what pregnancy does to you? That hurt. That hurt so much that I felt tears spring to my eyes immediately. That's not fair, I whispered. You're right. I'm sorry. He rubbed his face tiredly. Look, I'm under a lot of pressure at work right now, and you questioning me every time I come home isn't helping. Can we not do this tonight? I didn't want to fight. I was exhausted and emotional and my back hurt and I just wanted my husband to hold me and tell me everything would be okay. Fine, I said. I'm going to bed. I cried myself to sleep that night while Marcus took a shower. When he finally came to bed, he stayed on his side. The gap between us felt like an ocean. 2 days before the baby shower, I did something I'm not proud of. I went through Marcus's phone. I know. It's a terrible thing to do. It's a violation of privacy and trust. But I was desperate. I needed to know if I was going crazy or if something was really wrong. Marcus had left his phone on the kitchen counter while he went to take out the trash. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might jump out of my chest. My hands were shaking as I picked it up. He changed his passcode. We used to use each other's birthdays, but now it was different. I tried our anniversary. Wrong. I tried his mom's birthday. Wrong. I tried the day we got biscuit. Wrong. And then, like a complete idiot, I tried the phone one more time and it locked me out. Security lockout. Try again in 15 minutes. Crap. Crap. I put the phone back exactly where it had been and practically ran to the living room. When Marcus came back in, I pretended to be watching TV, but my heart was racing and I felt sick to my stomach. "You okay?" he asked, looking at me. "You look pale." "Just feeling nauseous," I said, which wasn't a lie. "Pregnancy stuff. Do you need anything?" "No, I'm fine." He picked up his phone and I held my breath, waiting to see if he'd notice. He glanced at the screen, frowned slightly, then just slipped it in his pocket. "I'm going to go work in my office for a bit," he said. "Okay." And that was it. He disappeared down the hall and I sat there feeling like the worst wife in the world. But also feeling like maybe I had a reason to be suspicious. The morning of the baby shower, I woke up feeling weird. Not sick exactly, but off. Like something bad was going to happen. Marcus was already awake, which was unusual for a Saturday. He was sitting on the edge of the bed, fully dressed in nice jeans and a button-up shirt, staring at the wall. "Hey," I said groggily. "What time is it?" 9:30, he said without looking at me. "The shower starts at 2, right?" "Yeah." I sat up slowly, my pregnant belly making everything harder. "Are you okay?" "Fine." "You don't seem fine." "I'm fine, Emma. Just thinking about stuff." "What stuff?" "Work stuff. Life stuff. Nothing you need to worry about." But I was worried. He seemed so tense, like he was gearing up to do something difficult. "Marcus, if something's wrong, you can tell me. We're a team, remember? You and me against the world." That's what he used to say. On our wedding day, he said it in his vows. "You and me against the world, Emma. Always." He finally looked at me, and the expression in his eyes made my blood run cold. It wasn't love. It wasn't warmth. It was nothing. Like he was looking at a stranger. "Yeah," he said flatly. "A team." Then he stood up and walked out of the room, leaving me sitting there with tears running down my face and a terrible feeling in my gut that my whole world was about to crumble. My mom and dad's house looked beautiful. Jessica and Mom had hung pink and blue streamers everywhere, and there were balloons tied to the mailbox. A big banner that said "Baby Shower" hung across the front porch. Cars were already parked along the street when Marcus and I pulled up. I could see people through the windows. My Aunt Linda, my co-workers from school, some of Marcus's family. "Wow, they really went all out," I said, trying to sound happy even though I felt like crying. Marcus didn't respond. He just put the car in park and stared straight ahead. "Marcus." "Yeah." "Are you going to tell me what's wrong? Because something is clearly wrong and I can't go in there and pretend to be happy when you're acting like someone died." He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Let's just get through this, okay?" "Get through it? It's supposed to be a celebration." "I know what it's supposed to be, Emma." His tone was so sharp that I flinched. What was happening? What had I done to make him hate me so much? We got out of the car and walked up to the house in silence. The second we opened the door, everyone yelled, "Surprise!" Even though it wasn't a surprise party, and rushed over to hug me and touch my belly and tell me how beautiful I looked. I plastered on a fake smile and thanked everyone, but inside I was screaming. Marcus disappeared into the kitchen almost immediately, leaving me to face everyone alone. The baby shower was actually nice at first. We played games like, guess the baby food flavor, disgusting, and don't say baby. I lost immediately. People gave me beautiful gifts, tiny clothes, soft blankets, a stroller that probably cost more than my first car. Sarah kept giving me concerned looks from across the room. She could tell something was wrong. Best friends always know. Marcus's mom, Linda, pulled me aside at one point and hugged me tight. "I'm so excited to be a grandmother," she said, tears in her eyes. "You're going to be such a wonderful mother, Emma." "Thank you," I said, hugging her back and trying not to cry. "Is everything okay?" she asked, pulling back to look at me. "You seem upset." "Just hormones," I lied. "Pregnancy makes me emotional." She didn't look convinced, but she didn't push it. "Well, if you ever need anything, I'm here." "Your family." Family. That word made my throat tight. Was I still going to be family after today? Something told me no. Marcus had been weird the entire time, standing in corners, checking his phone, barely talking to anyone. People kept asking me if he was okay and I kept making excuses. "He's just tired from work." "He's nervous about becoming a dad." "He's not feeling well." Lies, lies, lies. It happened during cake time. Mom had just brought out this beautiful 3-tier cake decorated with little baby booties and rattles. Everyone was gathered around, and Jessica was taking pictures, and people were laughing and happy. And then Marcus walked up to me with an envelope in his hand. "Emma," he said loudly, cutting through all the chatter. "I need to talk to you." The room got quiet. Everyone turned to look at us. "Can it wait?" I asked nervously, feeling everyone's eyes on us. "We're about to cut the—" "No. It can't wait." He handed me the envelope. His hand was steady. Mine was shaking. "What is this?" I asked, even though some part of me already knew. "Open it." I looked around the room. My mom's face was confused. Jessica looked worried. Sarah was starting to stand up like she was ready to jump in and protect me. Marcus's mom had her hand over her mouth. With trembling fingers, I opened the envelope and pulled out the papers inside. Petition for dissolution of marriage. Divorce papers. He was handing me divorce papers. And my baby shower. In front of everyone. "Marcus, what?" My voice cracked. "I want a divorce, Emma. I'm done with this marriage. I'm done pretending." Gasps echoed around the room. Someone dropped a plate and it shattered on the floor. I think my mom started crying. "Pretending?" I whispered, the papers shaking in my hands. "What are you talking about?" "I don't love you anymore." He said it so calmly, so coldly. "I haven't for a while now. And I don't want to be tied to you for the rest of my life just because of a baby." The room exploded. People were shouting at Marcus. His own mother was yelling, "How could you?" My dad started toward him with his fists clenched. Sarah was next to me, grabbing my arm to steady me. But I barely heard any of it. All I could hear was my own heart breaking into a million pieces. "You don't mean this," I said, tears streaming down my face. "Marcus, please, you don't mean this." "I do mean it. Sign the papers, Emma. Let's both move on with our lives." That's when something inside me snapped. The sadness turned to anger. Hot, burning, righteous anger. Because I knew something he didn't. Something that was going to destroy him the way he was destroying me. I took a deep breath, wiped my tears, and looked him straight in the eye. "Okay, Marcus," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. "I'll sign your papers. But first," I continued, my voice getting stronger even though my hands were still shaking, "I have an announcement to make. Since everyone's here anyway." Marcus looked confused. Maybe even a little nervous. "You should be." "Emma, this isn't the time for—" he started. "No, Marcus. You made this the time when you handed me divorce papers at my own baby shower. So now everyone gets to hear what I have to say." I looked around the room at all the faces staring at me. My mom crying into my dad's shoulder. Jessica looking like she wanted to punch Marcus in the face. Sarah standing right beside me like a bodyguard. Marcus's mom Linda, shaking her head in disbelief at her own son. My coworkers, my aunts and uncles, my friends, all of them watching this horrible moment unfold. 3 days ago, I began, my voice clear and loud, I got a call from Marcus's office. From his boss, actually. A man named Robert Chin. Marcus's face went pale. Like ghost white pale. Mr. Chin called to ask me a strange question. He wanted to know if Marcus was okay because Marcus hadn't been to work in over 2 months. Gasps rippled through the room again. Marcus took a step back. "That's right," I continued, looking straight at my husband. 2 months. All those late nights? All that overtime and extra projects and stress from work? Lies. Complete lies. Because Marcus hasn't been going to work at all. "Emma, stop," Marcus's voice cracked. "No. You don't get to tell me to stop. You just humiliated me in front of everyone I love, so now you get to hear the truth." I was yelling now, all the anger and hurt pouring out of me. Mr. Chin told me that Marcus quit his job 2 months ago. Just walked out one day and never came back. Didn't give notice. Didn't tell anyone. Just left. Marcus's mom made a sound like a wounded animal. "Marcus, tell me she's lying." But Marcus couldn't look at anyone. He just stood there frozen. "And you want to know where he has been going?" I continued. "Every single night when he said he was working late? When he came home smelling like perfume? When he was too tired to talk to me or touch me or even look at me?" The room was so silent you could hear people breathing. "He's been with someone named Vanessa." Let me back up and tell you how I found out. Because this part is important. When Mr. Chin called me 3 days ago, I thought it was a mistake at first. I was at school teaching my third graders about fractions when my phone buzzed during recess. "Mrs. Parker? This is Robert Chin from Grandview Marketing Solutions. I'm Marcus's supervisor." "Oh, hi," I said, confused about why Marcus's boss was calling me. "Is everything okay?" Is Marcus all right? That's actually why I'm calling. We've been trying to reach Marcus for several weeks now, and he hasn't responded to any of our calls or emails. We wanted to check with you to make sure there wasn't a family emergency or medical issue we weren't aware of. My stomach dropped. I'm sorry, I don't understand. Marcus has been going to work every day. He leaves at 7 in the morning and comes home late at night because of all the overtime. There was a long pause. Mrs. Parker, Marcus hasn't been to work since September 15th. He came in that morning, cleaned out his desk, and told HR he was resigning effective immediately. We assumed you knew. The world tilted sideways. September 15th was exactly 2 months ago. 2 months of lies. I didn't know, I whispered. I'm very sorry to be the one to tell you this. We weren't sure if we should call, but we were concerned. If there's anything we can do. Thank you for calling, I managed to say before hanging up. I spent the rest of that day in a daze. My teaching assistant had to take over my class because I couldn't focus. All I could think was, where has Marcus been going every day? What has he been doing? Who has he been with? When I got home that afternoon, I did something I never thought I'd do. I went into Marcus's office, the spare bedroom he used for his work-from-home days, and I searched through everything. It didn't take long to find what I was looking for. In his desk drawer, underneath some old papers and folders, was a credit card statement. A credit card I didn't know he had. The charges told me everything I needed to know. Dinner at Romano's, an expensive Italian restaurant downtown. $200. Flowers from Bella's Bouquet. $150. A hotel room at the Riverside Inn. $300. Jewelry from Tiffany & Company. $800. And on and on and on. Dozens of charges. Thousands of dollars. All for things Marcus had never given to me. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the papers. This was real. Marcus was cheating on me. While I was pregnant with his child, he was spending money we didn't have on another woman. I took pictures of everything with my phone. Every charge, every date, every location. Evidence. Then I put everything back exactly how I found it and went to the living room to wait for Marcus to come home from wherever he really was. He came home at 10:30 that night. I was sitting in the dark living room just waiting. Emma? Why are the lights off? He flipped on the switch and jumped when he saw me sitting there. Jesus, you scared me. What are you doing? Where were you tonight, Marcus? I told you I had to work late. Big deadline coming up. Really? What's the deadline for? Just a marketing campaign. You wouldn't understand the details. Try me. He sighed, annoyed. Emma, I'm tired. Can we not do this tonight? You're tired? I repeated slowly. You're tired? That's interesting, Marcus, because I'm tired too. I'm tired of being lied to. His face changed. What are you talking about? I got a call today. From Robert Chin. Your boss. Except he's not your boss anymore, is he? Because you quit 2 months ago. The color drained from Marcus's face. So I'll ask you again, I said, standing up even though my pregnant belly made it difficult. Where were you tonight? I can explain. Where? You. I was with a friend. What friend? You don't know her. Her. The word felt like a knife in my chest. So you admit it? You're seeing someone. Marcus ran his hands through his hair, looking trapped. Emma, listen, it's not what you think. It's not what I think? Really? Because what I think is that you've been lying to me for months. What I think is that while I'm home pregnant with your baby, you've been out spending our money on another woman. What I think is that you're a cheating, lying coward. Don't call me that. Then tell me the truth. Tell me what's really going on. We stood there, facing each other like opponents in a fight. And then, finally, Marcus broke. Fine. You want the truth? Yes, I'm seeing someone. Her name is Vanessa. I met her 3 months ago at a coffee shop, and we've been together ever since. 3 months ago. Right around when I found out I was pregnant. You started cheating on me when I got pregnant? My voice came out as a whisper. I didn't mean for it to happen. Just, it did. Vanessa is different from you, Emma. She's exciting. She's fun. She doesn't spend all her time complaining about being tired or nauseous or... I'm pregnant. Of course I'm tired and nauseous. I'm growing a human being. And that's great, it really is, but I don't think I want this anymore. This life. This marriage. Any of it. I felt like I couldn't breathe. You don't want our baby? I don't know. Maybe. I just need time to figure things out. Time? Time. Marcus, the baby is coming in 2 months. There's no time. We're having a child together. That was your choice, not mine. Those words hit me like a punch to the stomach. My choice? We made this baby together. You knew I wasn't sure if I was ready, but you were so excited that I just went along with it. And now I feel trapped. Trapped. I was crying now, ugly crying, the kind where you can barely breathe. So what are you going to do? Just leave? Abandon your child? I don't know what I'm going to do. I just know I can't keep pretending that everything is fine when it's not. He stormed out of the room, leaving me standing there alone, crying and pregnant and heartbroken. That was 3 days ago. We hadn't really spoken since then. We'd been living in the same house but avoiding each other, moving around each other like ghosts. And then this morning he told me he was coming to the baby shower. I thought maybe, stupidly, foolishly, that meant he'd changed his mind. That he'd realized he was making a mistake. That he still loved me. But no. He just wanted to humiliate me one final time. So there we were, back at the baby shower, with me having just revealed Marcus's secrets to everyone. Vanessa, I repeated, looking around the room. That's who he's been with. That's who he spent our savings on. That's who was more important than his pregnant wife. Marcus's face was red now, angry instead of embarrassed. You had no right to go through my things. I had every right. I'm your wife. Or did you forget that little detail while you were buying jewelry for your girlfriend? Don't turn this around on me. You're the one who... Who what, Marcus? Who what? Who trusted you? Who believed in you? Who stood by you for 5 years? Who's carrying your child? My voice broke on the last word. Marcus's mom walked up to him and slapped him across the face. Art. The sound echoed through the silent room. How dare you, she said, her voice shaking with rage. How dare you do this to Emma? To your child? To this family? Mom, you don't understand? I understand perfectly. You're just like your father was before he finally grew up. Selfish. Cowardly. Running away when things get hard instead of facing them like a man. That's not fair. What's not fair is what you're doing to this poor girl. Linda turned to me with tears in her eyes. Emma, sweetie, I am so sorry. If I had known what he was doing, I would have stopped it. I would have talked sense into him. It's not your fault, I said quietly. Marcus, you need to leave, my dad said, stepping forward. His voice was calm but dangerous. Right now. This is between me and Emma. No, it's not. Not anymore. You made it everyone's business when you pulled this stunt at her baby shower. Now get out before I throw you out. My dad isn't a violent man. He's a retired librarian who likes gardening and bird watching. But in that moment he looked like he could snap Marcus in half. Marcus looked around the room, maybe hoping someone would defend him. But everyone just stared at him with disgust and anger. Even his own friends and family members were shaking their heads. Fine, Marcus said. I'm leaving. But Emma, you still need to sign those papers. Actually, I said, my voice suddenly calm, I don't think I will. Marcus frowned. What do you mean you won't sign them? You can't stop a divorce, Emma. If I want one, I'm getting one. Oh, you'll get your divorce eventually, I said. But not until after you hear the rest of what I have to say. I don't want to hear anything else from you. Too bad. You're going to listen. I turned to face everyone in the room. I also need to tell you all something else. Something I just found out yesterday. Sarah grabbed my hand and squeezed it. She knew what I was about to say. I called her last night, sobbing after I got the news. I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, I began. A special ultrasound because they wanted to check on something. And they found a problem. My mom gasped. Emma, what kind of problem? The baby has a heart condition. It's called tetralogy of Fallot. It's a serious defect that means the baby's heart didn't form correctly. The room erupted in concerned murmurs. Marcus, for the first time, looked genuinely worried. Is the baby going to be okay? Jessica asked, tears streaming down her face. The doctors say that with surgery right after birth, the baby should be fine. But it's going to be complicated. And expensive. Really, really expensive. I looked directly at Marcus. The kind of expensive that requires good insurance. The kind that you get from having a stable job. The kind that you don't have anymore because you quit. Marcus's face went even paler than before. I didn't know. Of course you didn't know. Because you've been too busy with Vanessa to even ask how your baby is doing. You haven't come to a single doctor's appointment in 2 months. How expensive are we talking? Marcus's mom asked quietly. The surgery alone will cost around $200,000. Plus hospital stays, follow-up care, medications. We're looking at maybe $300,000 total. Maybe more. The number hung in the air like a bomb. But your insurance, Marcus started. My insurance from teaching? It'll cover some of it. Maybe half. But that still leaves us owing over $100,000. Money we don't have because someone spent our savings on his girlfriend. Marcus looked like he might throw up. There has to be payment plans or something. Oh, now you care about the baby? Now you want to figure out solutions? Where was this energy when you were booking hotel rooms with Vanessa? That's not fair, Emma. Nothing about this is fair. I was screaming now, months of hurt and anger finally exploding out of me. It's not fair that I have to do this alone. It's not fair that our baby is sick. It's not fair that you chose another woman over your own family. None of this is fair. I was sobbing so hard I could barely breathe. Sarah wrapped her arms around me while Jessica rushed to get me some water. My mom was crying. Marcus's mom was crying. Even some of my coworkers were crying. Marcus just stood there looking lost and confused and maybe, finally, a little bit guilty. There's more, I said once I'd calmed down enough to speak. Something else you should all know. Emma, maybe you should sit down, Sarah said gently. You're getting too worked up and that's not good for the baby. No. They need to hear this. All of this. I took a deep breath. Yesterday, after my doctor's appointment, I went to see a lawyer. I wanted to know what my options were. What my rights were. Marcus's eyes widened. You got a lawyer? Of course I got a lawyer. You handed me divorce papers, Marcus. What did you think I was going to do, just roll over and accept it? What did the lawyer say? My dad asked. She said a lot of things. But the most important thing was this. In our state, if you divorce while your wife is pregnant, you're still legally responsible for the child's medical expenses. Especially if the child has a known medical condition before the divorce is finalized. Marcus looked confused. What does that mean? It means, I said slowly, making sure everyone could hear me clearly, that even if I sign your stupid divorce papers right now, you're still on the hook for half of the baby's medical bills. The courts will garnish your wages. They'll put liens on any property you own. They'll make sure you pay your share. But I don't have any money. I told you I quit my job. Then I guess you better get a new one. Because our baby needs heart surgery, and you're going to help pay for it whether you like it or not. The look on Marcus's face was priceless. It was like watching him realize in real time that his actions had consequences. That he couldn't just walk away from his responsibilities. That his choices affected real people, including the innocent baby who didn't ask to be born with a heart defect. You can't do this to me, he said weakly. I'm not doing anything to you, Marcus. You did this. You quit your job. You cheated on your wife. You spent our money on another woman. You tried to abandon your child. These are all your choices. Now you get to live with them. Marcus's mom stepped forward again. Emma's right. Marcus, you made this mess. Now you have to fix it. But Mom? No. I didn't raise you to be this person. I didn't raise you to abandon your family when things get hard. Your father tried to leave us when you were 2 years old and I didn't let him. I made him stay and be a man and take responsibility. And eventually he became a better person for it. Now it's your turn. I don't love Emma anymore, Marcus said, and even though I'd heard it before, it still hurt. I can't just stay married to someone I don't love. No one's asking you to stay married, Linda said firmly. We're asking you to take care of your child. There's a difference. That's when things got even more crazy. If you can believe it. There was a knock on the front door. Everyone looked at each other, confused. No one else was supposed to be coming to the baby shower. My dad went to answer it and we heard a woman's voice say, "Is Marcus Parker here? His phone is off and I need to talk to him." Marcus's face went white as a sheet. Oh no. Oh no. I repeated. Did you seriously tell your girlfriend where my parents live? The woman appeared in the doorway and everyone turned to stare at her. She was pretty, I'll give her that. Tall, thin, perfect makeup, wearing a tight dress that showed off every curve. Everything I wasn't with my swollen ankles and pregnant belly and messy hair. Marcus, there you are, she said brightly, not reading the room at all. I've been trying to call you for, oh. She finally noticed the baby shower decorations. The cake. The presents. Me standing there in a maternity dress with my huge belly. Is this the party you said you had to go to? Vanessa, you need to leave, Marcus said, his voice panicked. Wait, I'm confused. You said you were going to a work thing. You didn't say anything about a baby shower. She looked at me. Are you Marcus's sister or something? The entire room burst out laughing. Bitter, angry laughter. His sister. I said. Are you joking right now? Vanessa looked bewildered. I don't understand what's happening. I'll tell you what's happening, Sarah said, stepping forward with fire in her eyes. This is Emma, Marcus's wife. And that's his baby she's pregnant with. Did he forget to mention that little detail? The color drained from Vanessa's face. His wife. That's right, Jessica chimed in. Wife of 5 years. Currently 7 months pregnant. Ring any bells? Marcus, tell me this isn't true, Vanessa said, turning to him. You said you were single. You said your last relationship ended over a year ago. Marcus couldn't even look at her. Or at me. He just stared at the floor like a coward. Oh my God, Vanessa whispered. Oh my God, you lied to me. This whole time you were married. Vanessa, I can explain. Explain what? How you been lying to me for 3 months. How you made me think we had a future together. How you let me fall in love with you while you had a pregnant wife at home. She was crying now too. Honestly, I almost felt bad for her. Almost. You told me you loved me, Vanessa continued, her voice breaking. You said we were going to build a life together. Was any of it real? Marcus didn't answer. Vanessa looked at me, tears running down her perfect makeup. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know he was married. If I had known. It's fine, I said, even though it wasn't fine. Nothing about this was fine. He lied to both of us. Wait, Vanessa said, wiping her eyes. There's something you should know. Something Marcus didn't tell me he was hiding from you. What now? I asked, honestly not sure how much more I could take. The money. The money he's been spending on dates and gifts and hotels? That wasn't from his job. I know he quit his job, I said. Where was it from? Vanessa looked at Marcus, who was shaking his head desperately, silently begging her not to tell. But she was hurt and hurt angry people don't keep secrets. He's been gambling, Vanessa said. Online poker. He told me he was really good at it, that he was making thousands of dollars. He said that's how he could afford to be so generous. My stomach dropped. Gambling? I didn't find out until last week that he wasn't winning money. He was losing it. A lot of it. He asked me for a loan, $5,000, to cover some debts. That's when I started asking questions. I turned to Marcus, who looked like he wanted the earth to swallow him whole. You've been gambling? On top of everything else, you've been gambling with our money? It wasn't supposed to be like this, Marcus said weakly. I thought I could win it back. I thought. How much? My dad asked, his voice deadly quiet. How much did you lose? Marcus didn't answer. How much, Marcus? $40,000. The room exploded. Everyone was yelling at once. My mom was wailing. My dad looked like he was going to have a heart attack. Marcus's mom was screaming at him in a way I'd never heard before. 40,000? I could barely form words. Marcus, that was our entire savings. That was money for the baby. For the house. For emergencies. How could you? I thought I could make it back. I had a system, I was getting better at it, I just needed a little more time. A system? A system? Marcus, the house always wins. That's literally how gambling works. Did you really throw away our entire future because you thought you had a system? I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. Everything was crashing down around me. $40,000. Gone. Just gone. And we had a baby coming who needed $300,000 in medical care. I was going to be a single mother with a sick baby and no money and no husband and no idea how I was going to survive. Sarah caught me as my knees buckled. Emma, breathe. Someone call 911. No, I'm okay, I gasped, even though I wasn't okay. Nothing was okay. I just need to sit down. They helped me to the couch. Someone brought me water. Someone else brought me a cold cloth for my forehead. My mom was holding my hand so tight it hurt. That's it, my dad said, pointing at Marcus. You're done here. Get out. Now. But. Now. Marcus turned to leave, but Vanessa blocked his path. I want my $5,000 back, she said coldly. All her tears were gone now, replaced by pure anger. Today. Right now. I don't have it, Marcus admitted. Then sell something. Your car. Your watch. Your wedding ring. She looked at the ring on his finger with disgust. Oh wait, I bet that's already been gambled away, hasn't it? Vanessa, please? No. You used me. You lied to me. You made me the other woman without me even knowing it. I'm not letting you steal my money too. She pulled out her phone. I'm calling my brother. He's a lawyer. We'll see what he has to say about getting my money back. You can't. Watch me. She dialed a number and walked out of the room, already talking to whoever answered. Marcus stood there, surrounded by people who hated him, looking like the world's biggest failure. I didn't mean for any of this to happen, he said quietly. But it did happen, Linda said, her voice cold. It happened because you made selfish, stupid choices. One after another after another. I know. I messed up. I messed up so bad. For the first time, Marcus started crying. I don't know how to fix this. You can't fix this, I said from the couch, my voice hollow. You destroyed everything, Marcus. Our marriage, our savings, our future. You can't just apologize and make it all better. What am I supposed to do? I looked at him, really looked at him, for what felt like the first time in months. And I realized I didn't love him anymore. Somewhere between the lies and the cheating and the gambling and the divorce papers, my love for him had died. I don't care what you do, I said honestly. Get a job. Pay back your debts. Figure out your life. But do it somewhere else. I'm done. But the baby has nothing to do with us anymore. You'll pay your court-ordered child support for medical expenses. Beyond that, I don't want you involved. You made it clear you don't want this child. So fine. You don't get this child. Emma, you can't keep my kid away from me. Watch me, I said, echoing Vanessa's words from earlier. My lawyer said that given your current circumstances, no job, gambling addiction, abandonment during pregnancy, I have a very good chance of getting primary custody with minimal visitation rights. Especially since you literally handed me divorce papers at my baby shower in front of witnesses. The reality of what he'd done seemed to finally hit Marcus. He'd lost everything. His wife, his child, his money, his girlfriend, his family's respect, his friends' support. Everything. And it was entirely his own fault. After Marcus finally left, escorted out by my dad and uncle to make sure he actually went, the baby shower obviously didn't continue. People started cleaning up, packing away the decorations, putting the presents in a pile in the corner. But something strange happened. Instead of everyone leaving, people stayed. They gathered around me, offering support and love and help. My mom said she and dad would help with medical bills. Jessica said she'd research charities and programs that help families with children who need heart surgery. Sarah said I could stay with her if I needed to get away from the house I'd shared with Marcus. My coworkers said they'd organize a fundraiser at school. Marcus's mom, bless her heart, apologized about 100 times and promised she'd help any way she could, even if that meant working extra shifts at her nursing job. Even Vanessa came back in before she left and said, I'm sorry. For all of this. I really didn't know. I believe you, I said. For what it's worth, you're better off without him. I know I am. She paused. I hope your baby is okay. I mean that. Thank you. And then she left and I never saw her again. As people finally started heading home, Sarah stayed behind to help me to her car. You're staying with me tonight, she said. It wasn't a question. Okay. We'll go back to your house tomorrow to get your things. But tonight you need to be somewhere safe. Somewhere you don't have to think about him. Sarah? Yeah. What am I going to do? How am I going to raise a baby with a heart condition all by myself? I'm so scared. Sarah stopped and turned to face me, holding both my hands. You're going to do it the same way you do everything else, one day at a time. And you're not alone, Emma. You have your family. You have your friends. You have an entire support system of people who love you. We're all going to get through this together. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But as I sat in her car, driving away from my parents' house, watching the baby shower decorations disappear in the rearview mirror, all I could think was, my husband handed me divorce papers at my baby shower. My baby has a heart defect. My savings are gone. My life is falling apart. And the worst part? I still had no idea just how much worse things were about to get. Because what I didn't know, what nobody knew yet, was that Marcus's problems ran deeper than any of us realized. And in exactly 2 days I was going to find out just how deep they went. But I'm getting ahead of myself. That's a story for the next chapter. I was staying at Sarah's apartment, sleeping in her guest room that she'd quickly turned into a little sanctuary for me. She'd put fresh sheets on the bed, brought in some of my favorite snacks, and even set up a little corner with pillows where I could sit comfortably with my pregnant belly. It was Monday morning, 2 days after the worst baby shower in the history of baby showers. I was supposed to go back to work, but I'd called in sick. I couldn't face my coworkers yet, even though they'd all been so supportive. I just needed time to think. Time to process. Time to figure out what my life was going to look like now. Sarah had gone to work, making me promise to call her if I needed anything. I was sitting on the couch, eating cereal and watching mindless TV when someone knocked on the door. I wasn't expecting anyone. Maybe it was Sarah coming back because she forgot something? I shuffled to the door. Everything was shuffling now with this belly, and looked through the peephole. Marcus. My heart started racing. What was he doing here? How did he even know where Sarah lived? Emma, I know you're in there, he called through the door. Please. I need to talk to you. It's important. Go away, Marcus. I can't. Please. Just 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Something in his voice made me pause. He sounded different. Not angry or defensive like at the baby shower. He sounded desperate. Broken. Against my better judgment, I opened the door but kept the chain lock on. What do you want? He looked terrible. His eyes were red and puffy like he'd been crying. He hadn't shaved. His clothes looked like he'd slept in them. I need to tell you something. Something I should have told you a long time ago. Unless it's I figured out how to turn back time and undo everything, I don't want to hear it. Emma, please. This is serious. Can I come in? Just for a minute? Every instinct told me to say no. To slam the door in his face and lock it and never speak to him again. But something in his eyes stopped me. Fear. Real, genuine fear. I closed the door, undid the chain, and opened it again. 5 minutes. That's it. Marcus came inside and sat down on Sarah's couch, his head in his hands. I stayed standing, keeping distance between us. Start talking. Your 5 minutes started already. He took a deep breath. The gambling. It was worse than I told you. How could it possibly be worse than $40,000? Because that wasn't the total. That was just what I lost from our savings account. My blood ran cold. What are you talking about? I took out loans, Emma. A lot of them. Credit cards, payday loans, even worse. What do you mean, even worse? Marcus looked up at me and I saw genuine terror in his eyes. I borrowed money from some people. Bad people. The kind of people you don't borrow money from unless you're desperate and stupid. Oh my God, Marcus. How much? Total? Including everything? About $90,000. I had to sit down. My legs just gave out and I collapsed into the chair across from him. 90,000, I whispered. Marcus, how? How did you even? It started small. Just a few hundred here and there at online poker sites. Then I started losing and I thought I could win it back if I just bet more. So I took out a credit card. Then another one. Then the payday loans. And when those ran out, I found these guys online who said they could lend me money, no questions asked. Loan sharks. Yeah. He was crying now. Loan sharks. And Emma, they want their money back. With interest. They gave me until the end of this week to come up with $20,000 or what? He didn't answer, which was answer enough. Marcus, you need to go to the police. I can't. These aren't the kind of people you go to the police about. He stopped himself. They'll what? Hurt you. Not just me. He looked at me, his eyes filled with tears. They know about you, Emma. They know where we live. Where you work. They've been following me and they've seen you. Everything inside me went cold. Are you telling me that I'm in danger because of your gambling debts? I don't know. Maybe. They said they wanted their money one way or another. I couldn't breathe. This couldn't be happening. This couldn't be real. You need to leave, I said quietly. Emma? Get out. I screamed. You came here and told me that dangerous criminals might come after me and my baby because of your mistakes, and you think I want you here? Get out. I'm trying to fix this. That's why I'm telling you. How? How are you going to fix this, Marcus? Where are you going to get $20,000 by the end of the week? I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out. That's why I gave you the divorce papers. I stared at him. What? I thought if we got divorced quickly they couldn't come after you for my debts. I thought I was protecting you. By humiliating me at my baby shower? That was your idea of protection. I wasn't thinking clearly. I was panicking. I still am. He stood up, pacing. They called me yesterday. They know about the baby shower. They know everything fell apart. They said they don't care about my problems, they just want their money. Right then Marcus's phone rang. He looked at the screen and his face went white. It's them, he whispered. Answer it. Emma? Answer it. I want to hear what these people sound like. His hands were shaking as he answered and put it on speaker. Hello? Marcus. The voice was deep, calm, almost friendly, which somehow made it more terrifying. How's your Monday going? I'm working on getting your money. That's good. That's real good. Because you know what happens on Friday if you don't have it, right? I know. Do you? Because I'm not sure you do. Let me paint you a picture, Marcus. We know you're not at your house right now. We know your wife left you. We also know she's pregnant. 7 months, right? Marcus looked at me, his face full of horror. "Leave her out of this," Marcus said, his voice cracking. "This is between you and me. See, that's where you're wrong. When you borrowed our money, you made it our business. And we take our business very seriously. Now, I'm a reasonable man. I don't want to involve innocent people. But I will if I have to. I'll get you the money. I swear. You have until Friday, 5 p.m. If you don't have $20,000 cash in our hands by then, we're going to have a problem. And Marcus? We don't like problems." The line went dead. Marcus dropped the phone like it had burned him. "Did you hear that? Did you hear what they said?" I was shaking. Actually physically shaking. "This is insane. Marcus, this is actually insane." "I know. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I'm in over my head and I don't know how to get out. We have to go to the police. Right now. They'll kill me. Or worse, they'll hurt you. Emma, I can't let that happen." "So what's your plan? Where are you going to get $20,000 in 4 days?" He looked at me with desperate eyes. I was hoping, maybe your parents? Absolutely not. I stood up, fury replacing my fear. "You are not dragging my family into this. They already said they'd help with the baby's medical bills. They don't have $20,000 to bail you out of your gambling debts. Then what am I supposed to do?" "I don't know, Marcus. Sell everything you own. Get a loan from a bank. Rob a bank for all I care. But you're not involving me or my family in this." There was another knock at the door. We both froze. "Are you expecting someone?" Marcus whispered. "No." We stood there in silence as the knocking continued. "Emma? It's Linda, Marcus's mom. Are you in there?" I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. "It's your mom." I opened the door and Linda rushed in looking worried. "Oh, thank God. I've been calling you both. Marcus, why haven't you been answering your phone?" Then she saw my face. "What's wrong? What happened?" Marcus, to my surprise, broke down completely. He told his mother everything. The full extent of the gambling, the loan sharks, the threats, all of it. He held nothing back. Linda listened to the whole story, her face getting paler and paler. When Marcus finally finished, she was quiet for a long moment. "How much do you need by Friday?" she finally asked. 20,000. "Mom, I wasn't going to ask you." "I have it." We both stared at her. "You have $20,000? I asked. Linda nodded slowly. "Your father, Marcus, your grandfather, left me some money when he passed away 5 years ago. I've been saving it. I was going to use it for retirement, but..." She looked at me, then at Marcus. "I'm not going to let my grandchild be put in danger because of my son's mistakes." "Mom, I can't take your retirement money," Marcus said, but there was hope in his voice. "You're not taking it. I'm giving it. But there are conditions. Anything. First, you pay back every cent. I don't care if it takes you 20 years. Second, you get help for the gambling. Real help. Therapy, meetings, whatever it takes. Third." She turned to me. "You let me be part of this baby's life. I know Marcus messed up. I know he hurt you. But I'm still this child's grandmother and I want to be there." I was crying now. "Linda, you don't have to do this." "Yes, I do. This baby is family. Your family, even if my son was too stupid to remember that. So do we have a deal?" "Yes," Marcus said immediately. "Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Mom. Thank you so much." Linda pulled out her phone. "I'm calling my bank right now. We're going to settle this debt today. Then Marcus, you and I are going to have a very long talk about your life choices." The next few hours were a blur. Linda withdrew the money from her savings account. It hurt my heart to watch her do it, but she insisted. She wouldn't even let me try to talk her out of it. Marcus called the loan sharks and arranged a meeting in a public place, a busy parking lot near the mall. Linda insisted on coming along, and despite my better judgment, so did I. I wanted to see this nightmare end with my own eyes. We met them at 3 in the afternoon. There were 2 men, both big and intimidating, wearing sunglasses even though it was cloudy. They looked exactly like what you'd imagine loan sharks would look like. Marcus handed over the envelope full of cash. One of the men counted it carefully while the other watched us. 20,000 all here, the first man said. "Pleasure doing business with you, Marcus." "Are we done? Is he clear?" Linda asked firmly. "He's clear. Don't come back." "Believe me, he won't," Linda said with a steel in her voice I'd never heard before. We walked back to the car and I felt like I could breathe again for the first time in days. It was over. The immediate danger was over. But Marcus's problems weren't over. Not by a long shot. Back at Sarah's apartment, the 3 of us sat down to talk. Really talk. "I'm sorry," Marcus started. To both of you. I'm so sorry. Sorry isn't enough, Linda said. Marcus, you nearly destroyed your life. You did destroy your marriage. You put your wife and unborn child in danger. You gambled away your future. And for what? I don't know. I thought I could win. I thought I was smart enough to beat the system. But you weren't, I said quietly. The house always wins, Marcus. That's how gambling works. They're designed to make you think you can win while they take everything from you. I know that now. Do you? Because I'm not sure you do. I think you're just scared right now. Once this fear wears off, what's going to stop you from doing it again? I won't. How do I know that? How does anyone know that? You lied to me for months, Marcus. You looked me in the eye every single day and lied. How am I supposed to trust anything you say now? He didn't have an answer for that. Linda spoke up. Emma's right. Marcus, you need professional help. This isn't something you can just promise to stop doing. Gambling addiction is real and it's serious and you need treatment. I know. I'll do it. I'll go to meetings, I'll see a therapist, whatever it takes. And you need to get a job, Linda continued. A real job. You need to start paying me back, and you need to start contributing to your child's medical expenses. I will. I promise. And Emma, Linda turned to me. I meant what I said. I want to be part of this baby's life. I know you and Marcus are getting divorced and I understand why. But I hope you'll still let me be a grandmother. Fresh tears spilled down my cheeks. Of course. Linda, you've been nothing but kind to me. This isn't your fault. You don't have to pay for Marcus's mistakes. He's my son. His mistakes are partially my responsibility. If I'd done a better job raising him. Don't, I interrupted. Don't blame yourself. Marcus is a grown man. He made his own choices. This is on him, not you. We sat in silence for a moment. What happens now? Marcus finally asked. With us? With the baby? I took a deep breath. This was the moment I'd been dreading, but I knew what I had to do. We're getting divorced, I said firmly. That part isn't changing. You were right about one thing, Marcus. We can't stay married. Not after everything that's happened. He nodded, looking sad but not surprised. But, I continued, for the baby's sake, we need to figure out how to co-parent. I'm not going to keep you away from your child completely. That wouldn't be fair to the baby. Really? Marcus looked up with hope in his eyes. Really? But there are rules. First, you get help for your gambling addiction. Real help. I want to see proof that you're going to meetings and seeing a therapist. Done. Second, you get a job and you start paying your share of the baby's medical expenses. I don't care what you have to do, flip burgers, work construction, whatever. You're going to help pay for your child's heart surgery. I will. I promise. Third, you earn back my trust. Slowly. Over time. You don't get to just walk back into this baby's life and play daddy whenever you feel like it. You're going to have to prove that you're serious about being a parent. I understand. And fourth, I said, my voice getting harder. If you ever put me or this baby in danger again, if you ever gamble again or lie again or bring dangerous people into our lives again, I will take full custody and you will never see this child. Do you understand me? Yes, absolutely. Emma, I swear on my life. Don't swear on your life. Just do it. Actions matter more than words, Marcus. From now on, you don't get to make promises. You only get to show up and do the work. He nodded, tears streaming down his face. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance. I know I don't deserve it. You're right. You don't. But this baby deserves to have a father who tries. So you better try harder than you've ever tried at anything in your life. 3 weeks passed. A lot happened in those 3 weeks. Marcus moved into a small apartment across town. He got a job as a manager at a retail store. It didn't pay great, but it was honest work and it had benefits. He started going to Gamblers Anonymous meetings 3 times a week. He showed me the attendance sheets to prove it. He also started seeing a therapist who specialized in addiction. He gave me permission to talk to the therapist myself so I could verify he was taking it seriously. He set up a payment plan to pay Linda back, $500 a month for 40 months. He also started putting money into an account for the baby's medical expenses. It wasn't much, only $200 a month, but it was something. As for me, I moved back into our house. Technically, it was our house until the divorce was finalized, and I wasn't about to let Marcus force me out of my own home. He'd already taken so much from me. He wasn't taking my house too. I started preparing the nursery. Jessica and Sarah helped me paint it a soft yellow color, neutral, since we still didn't know if the baby was a boy or girl. We put together the crib that someone had given me at the disastrous baby shower. We washed all the tiny clothes and organized them in the dresser. I also started preparing for the baby's surgery. I met with pediatric cardiologists and surgeons. I learned everything I could about tetralogy of Fallot. I joined support groups for parents of children with congenital heart defects. And slowly, day by day, I started healing. At 39 weeks pregnant, I went into labor. It was 2 in the morning on a Tuesday. I woke up with a sharp pain in my belly, and I knew immediately that this was it. I called Sarah first. She lived closest and could get to me fastest. Then I called Marcus. Hello. He answered on the second ring, voice groggy with sleep. The baby's coming. I heard him sit up immediately. Now. Right now. Yes, now. My water just broke and the contractions are getting closer. I'm on my way. I'll meet you at the hospital. Sarah arrived 15 minutes later and drove me to the hospital while I breathed through contractions and tried not to panic. Marcus was already there when we arrived, pacing in the waiting room. He looked terrified. Is she okay? Is the baby okay? He asked Sarah. They're both fine. The doctors are checking her now. The labor was long. 16 hours of pain and fear and exhaustion. But through it all, I kept thinking about my baby. My little fighter who already had to overcome so much. Sarah stayed with me the whole time. She held my hand and wiped my forehead and told me I was doing great even when I was screaming that I couldn't do it anymore. Marcus stayed in the waiting room. I told him he could come in if he wanted, but he said he didn't think he deserved to be there for the birth. That this was my moment and he'd already taken enough from me. I appreciated that more than I could say. At 6:47 p.m., after 16 hours of labor, my baby was born. It's a girl, the doctor announced. A beautiful baby girl. They put her on my chest for just a moment, long enough for me to see her tiny face and her little fingers curling into fists, and then they had to take her away. The neonatal team was waiting. They needed to assess her heart, to make sure she was stable before the surgery. Is she okay? I asked frantically as they whisked her away. She's perfect, the nurse assured me. Her color is good, she's breathing well. The doctors just need to run some tests. 2 hours later they let me see her. She was in the NICU, hooked up to monitors and wires, looking so impossibly small in that big hospital bed. But she was alive. She was here. She was real. Hi, baby girl, I whispered, reaching through the opening in the incubator to touch her tiny hand. I'm your mama. I've been waiting so long to meet you. Her little fingers wrapped around my one finger, holding on tight. You're so strong, I told her, tears streaming down my face. You're going to have to be strong for a little while longer. You have a surgery coming up, but the doctors say you're going to be okay. And I'm going to be right here with you the whole time. Sarah was standing beside me crying too. She's beautiful, Em. She really is. Marcus appeared in the doorway looking hesitant. Can I come in? I looked at him, really looked at him. He looked different than he had 3 weeks ago. Cleaner. More put together. Like he was actually trying. Yeah. Come meet your daughter. He walked over slowly like he was afraid he might break something. When he saw her, he started crying. She's so small, he whispered. She's perfect. What's her name? I'd been thinking about this for weeks. I'd made lists and crossed out names and started over a dozen times. But the moment I saw her, I knew. Hope. Her name is Hope. Marcus looked at me surprised. Hope. Yeah. Because even after everything, after all the lies and the betrayal and the pain, I still have hope. Hope that things will get better. Hope that she'll survive her surgery. Hope that we can figure out how to be good parents even if we can't be married. Hope for the future. Hope, Marcus repeated, looking at our daughter. It's perfect. Hope's surgery was scheduled for when she was 1 week old. Those 7 days were the longest of my life. Every moment I wasn't sleeping or eating, I was in the NICU with her. I held her when they let me. I sang to her. I read her stories even though she was too young to understand. I wanted her to know she wasn't alone. Marcus came to visit every day after work. He'd sit on the other side of the incubator and talk to Hope about his day, about how he was working hard to be better, about how much he loved her. I'll admit, watching him with her made me feel complicated emotions. Part of me was still angry at him. Part of me would probably always be angry. But part of me was glad that he was trying. For Hope's sake. The morning of the surgery, the whole family gathered. My parents, Jessica, Sarah, Linda, even some of my coworkers. Everyone who loved Hope and wanted to support her. The surgeon came to explain the procedure one more time. They would repair the 4 defects in Hope's heart that made up the tetralogy of Fallot. It would take several hours. There were risks, but the success rate was high. She's a strong little girl, the surgeon said. I've done hundreds of these surgeries and I'm confident she's going to do great. They wheeled her away at 8 in the morning. I kissed her tiny forehead and whispered, "Be strong, baby girl. Mama will be right here waiting for you." And then all we could do was wait. 4 hours. That's how long we sat in that waiting room, drinking terrible coffee and making small talk and pretending we weren't all terrified. Marcus sat across from me, his leg bouncing nervously. Every time someone in scrubs walked by, we all looked up hopefully. "She's going to be okay," Linda said for the 100th time. "She's going to be fine." "I know," I said even though I didn't know. I couldn't know until they came out and told us. At hour 5 a nurse came out. "Hope's family?" We all jumped up. The surgery went well. "Dr. Martinez will be out to talk to you in a few minutes, but I wanted to let you know she's stable." The relief was overwhelming. My mom started crying. Sarah hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. Marcus covered his face with his hands. Dr. Martinez came out 20 minutes later, still in his surgical scrubs. "Hope did beautifully," he said with a tired smile. "We repaired all 4 defects successfully. Her heart is already pumping more efficiently. She'll need to stay in the hospital for about 2 weeks for recovery and monitoring, but I expect her to make a full recovery." Really? I could barely believe it. She's going to be okay? She's going to be just fine. She'll need regular checkups as she grows, and there might be activity restrictions when she's older, but she can live a completely normal, healthy life. I broke down completely. All the fear and stress and worry of the past months came pouring out in huge, gasping sobs. My baby was going to be okay. She was going to survive. Hope came home from the hospital 2 weeks after her surgery, right on schedule. She was thriving, gaining weight, hitting her milestones, being an absolute perfect baby. The divorce papers were finalized 1 month after she was born. I was officially Emma Parker again. Well, I decided to go back to my maiden name, Emma Chin. New life, new beginning. Marcus kept up his end of the deal. He went to his meetings, saw his therapist, worked his job, and paid his debts. Every Sunday he came over to spend time with Hope. He'd feed her, change her, play with her. He was actually trying to be a good father. We'd never be together again, that ship had sailed and sunk, but we were learning to be co-parents. For Hope's sake. Linda was an amazing grandmother. She babysat whenever I needed help, spoiled Hope with little gifts, and never once made me feel bad about the divorce. My parents were wonderful too. They helped with bills when things got tight. They celebrated every tiny milestone. First smile, first giggle, first time holding her head up. Sarah was my rock through everything. She was there for the 3 a.m. feedings when I was too exhausted to function. She was there for the doctor appointments. She was there when I had breakdowns about being a single mom. As for me, I went back to teaching after maternity leave. It was hard leaving Hope, but I loved my job and we needed the income. Plus, my mom watched her during the day, so I knew she was in good hands. Money was tight. Really tight. Even with insurance, Hope's medical bills were enormous. We'd set up a payment plan with the hospital, and between my salary, Marcus's contributions, and help from family, we were managing. Barely. But managing. Life wasn't perfect. Life wasn't what I'd planned. But it was mine and I was making it work. It was a Saturday morning in early spring. Hope was 6 months old, healthy and happy and perfect. I was at the park with her, pushing her in a baby swing while she giggled and kicked her little legs. The sun was shining, birds were singing, and for the first time in almost a year, I felt genuinely happy. "Higher, Mama." Oh wait, she couldn't talk yet. But the look on her face said she wanted to go higher, so I pushed her a little more. "Emma?" I turned around. Marcus was walking toward us and he wasn't alone. He was with a woman, not Vanessa, someone new. She looked kind. Normal. Like a regular person, not someone from a dramatic soap opera. "Hey," I said, a little surprised. "I wasn't expecting you until tomorrow." "I know, sorry. I wanted to introduce you to someone." He gestured to the woman beside him. "This is Rachel. Rachel, this is Emma and our daughter Hope." Rachel smiled warmly. "It's nice to meet you. Marcus has told me a lot about you both." "All good things, I hope," I said, only half joking. "He told me the truth," Rachel said. "About everything. The gambling, the divorce, all of it. I appreciate his honesty." I looked at Marcus, surprised. "You told her everything?" "I'm done with secrets," Marcus said. "Done with lies." Rachel asked me about my past and I told her the whole story. If we're going to try to build something together, it has to be built on truth. That's really good, Marcus. I'm proud of you." He smiled. A real smile, not the fake ones I'd gotten used to during our marriage. "I'm trying." Rachel's been helping me stay accountable with my recovery. 8 months sober from gambling. That's amazing. We stood there for a moment, the four of us, me, Marcus, Rachel, and Hope, and it felt surprisingly okay. Not perfect, not easy, but okay. Can I push her for a while? Marcus asked, gesturing to Hope. Sure. I stepped back and watched Marcus push his daughter on the swing. He was gentle with her, careful. He made silly faces to make her laugh. He was actually being a good dad. Rachel came to stand beside me. He's really trying, she said quietly. I know you have no reason to believe that, but he is. I can see that. Thank you for being good to him. He needs someone stable in his life. Thank you for giving him a chance to be a father. Not every woman would do that after what he did. I'm not doing it for him, I said honestly. I'm doing it for Hope. Every kid deserves a chance to know their father as long as that father is trying to be better. That's really mature of you. I shrugged. I'm just doing my best. That's all any of us can do, right? That night, after Marcus left with Rachel and Hope was sleeping peacefully in her crib, I sat on my couch with a cup of tea and thought about everything that had happened. A year ago, I thought my life was on track. I was married, pregnant, happy. I thought I had everything figured out. Then my husband handed me divorce papers at my baby shower, and my whole world fell apart. But here's what I learned through all of it. I learned that I'm stronger than I ever thought possible. Strong enough to survive betrayal, heartbreak, and single motherhood. I learned that family isn't always who you're related to by blood. Sometimes it's the people who show up for you when everything falls apart, like Sarah and Jessica and Linda. I learned that people can change if they really want to. Marcus hurt me in ways I'll never fully get over, but he's trying to be better. That has to count for something. I learned that life doesn't go according to plan, and that's okay. Sometimes the detours lead you somewhere better than you imagined. Most importantly, I learned that even in the darkest moments, when you're standing at your baby shower holding divorce papers with your whole world crumbling, there can still be hope. Because 6 months after the worst day of my life, I had hope. Literally. My beautiful daughter, healthy and thriving, sleeping peacefully in the next room. And that made everything, all the pain, all the tears, all the struggle, worth it. My husband handed me divorce papers at my baby shower. But my announcement didn't just crush him. It changed everything. It changed me. It made me into someone stronger, braver, more resilient than I'd ever been before. I'm Emma Chin. I'm a single mother. I'm a teacher. I'm a survivor. And I'm going to be okay. Better than okay. I'm going to be great. Hope's first birthday party was nothing like the baby shower. It was small, intimate, joyful. Just family and close friends in my parents' backyard. There were balloons and a smash cake and presents that Hope was more interested in tearing the paper off of than actually playing with. Marcus was there with Rachel. They'd been dating for 10 months now, and she was good for him. Good to him. She kept him accountable, supported his recovery, and was even kind to me. Linda was there, spoiling her granddaughter as usual. My parents were there, taking about 1 million pictures. Sarah and Jessica were there, being the best aunts Hope could ask for. And me? I was there watching my daughter smash her face into a pink frosted cake, and I was happy. Genuinely, completely happy. As I looked around at all the people who loved Hope, who loved us, I realized something. My husband handed me divorce papers at my baby shower, thinking it was an ending. But it wasn't an ending at all. It was a beginning. The beginning of the life I was always meant to live. And I wouldn't change a thing. Thank you so much for watching this story until the end. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to this channel to support our growth. Hit that like button, leave a comment telling me what you thought, and let me know what story you want to hear next. Remember, no matter what you're going through, there's always hope. Sometimes the worst moments of our lives lead us to the best chapters. Stay strong, and I'll see you in the next video.